It's the Alfie Brown Show for the 27th of December. I've never said the date before, I don't think. It's never struck me as important. But today, as we reach the apex of the winter's festivities, it did seem like the date might be a prescient bit of information if, perchance, if but to dream, I get particularly festive, as I'm prone to do. I don't know if anybody else is a festive person. I'm not. I was being ironic or sarcastic. Irony is a bit highfalutin for what I was. I was just being plainly sarcastic. I wouldn't. It sounds almost a touch too much to say that it was irony. I think I'd like to be. The reason why I'm not more festive is it takes a lot of organisation to be festive. You've sort of got, in order to be festive, you've got to remember that Christmas exists, and I don't really. I mean, I go, oh look, there's trees, we must get round to getting one of those, and then I don't, because that involves, I just don't know who's got time for it. Like, between remembering to, write your comedy material, or do your job to make it to broaden it out for you so that you could apply it to yourself. Do your podcast, buy a Christmas tree, decorate a Christmas tree, wait in the same room as a Christmas tree, make space for the Christmas tree in the flat, which you can't because there isn't space in your flat for a Christmas tree, or the money to buy the Christmas tree because you live in London. So the small space that you do have, we're very lucky. We live in a very nice part of London, and everything's fine. But nobody's, only the real cream of the crop are living like damn hell ass kings in London. I wanted to move out of London, but Jesse didn't. So here we are, Christmas time in London. It's smog. Egg smog. That's what we drink in London. A little bit of festive egg smog. I'm going to cook for everybody. No pressure. But we all know how to do that. I think I've mentioned that I'm going to cook for everybody before, and that I've invited that pressure upon myself, and I'm going to rise to the challenge and please my family. I've got a bit of Christmas shopping left to do. I think I've broached the topic of Christmas shopping on here before. The World Wide Web's quite a good place for it if you're so inclined. The streets, what I've done the past few years, 10 years, 15 years of my life, is I've gone to a disgusting shopping centre at 9 a.m. on Christmas Eve, and nervously broken down in various candle and sock shops, buying impersonal and shit gifts for the people that I love most in my life. Buying girlfriends things that I want them to have rather than things that they actually want, because I'm selfish when I'm panicked. I don't mean to be selfish, but I am naturally of a selfish disposition when panicked gift buying. And I don't know why that is, and I wish it wasn't the way, but it is the way. You can ask, you can call them and ask. You can't, but you could DM them on Instagram, and you could say, was Alfie a selfish gift giver? And they would say yes, but he was nothing but a gentleman for the entirety of our relationship, and I want only the best for him. He's a nice guy, but a shitty gift giver. And Jesse, complaint is probably too much of let's dial down. Let's dial down. Ironically, needles me. That's better. About not only being a shitty gift giver, but I don't get her gifts. I don't woo her. And I mean, like, how much can you woo somebody who was pregnant, within 20 hours of you having gone on your first date? Like, I think that was the wooing. There was genetic wooing. The wooing occurred within you. There is no need. I understand it's, still 7 years hence now. Good to be romantic and nice to surprise. I don't like Valentine's Day again, because Valentine's Day feels to me like, when you would go somewhere nice with your parents, and when you'd be on your way back from the treat, the theatre or the pantomime or the nice trip to Pizza Express or whatever it was, that was the treat, and whoever had taken you, whether it was your mum or your dad, on the drive home, the other one, the one whose idea it wasn't, would say, "Do you want to say thank you to your mother for that?" And I would go, "Yes, but not like this, okay? Not like this. That's not me saying thank you to her anymore, is it? That's me looking like a dick because I hadn't said thank you yet. Whereas actually we were still within an acceptable time frame for me to have said thank you of my own volition. This is you getting to have, okay, you're winning points here, not me. She's not happy that I've said thank you. She's happy that you care about her enough to curry favour with her by selling out your fucking son, Dad. Okay? That's what that was. And don't pretend it was anything else. I know what the game is, okay? I'm a dad now. I do it to my children. Do you want to say thank you to your mummy? Thank you, mummy. Yeah, well, shame you didn't say it earlier, because now I've got the credit for that. Okay? Mummy, can you suck me off now, because I'm a good daddy? Okay. We all know what the game is. I should woo her more. That's the point. And buy more gifts and more surprises and stuff like that. I agree. But at Christmas again, that's the whole point about that was why I don't like Valentine's Day. You're being told to go on, tell her you love her then. Fuck off. I'll tell her I love her when I want to tell her I love her. Fucking Valentine's Day me. The fuck are you, Saint Valentine? I think I'll be in control of, when we really display our earnest outpourings of love. Thank you very much in fucking deed. Okay? I don't need you to tell me to love her. And I think I feel a little bit like that about Christmas. Not totally as kind of full of revulsion for it as I do Valentine's Day. Because, of course, the great thing about Christmas is it's when Christ was born. I don't know if you knew that about it. But Jesus Christ, that one, yeah, he was born on Christmas Day. There's a song about it. And what happens on Christmas Day is you sit with your family and you give and receive gifts. And the giving and receiving of gifts is accompanied by a big meal. And it's usually and traditionally a turkey meal. We eat turkey on Christmas Day because the reason why we eat turkey is because Jesus, his best friend, was a turkey. And now, to honour Jesus and his best friend, we eat, like how at communion you drink the blood of Christ, and then at Christmas you eat the body of his best friend, who was a turkey. And that's the story of Christmas. So that's good. And sweet, actually, very sweet. And then Boxing Day, which is when football happens. Or will it happen? Because there are COVIDiots around, aren't there? And the COVIDiots might have put paid to the best day of my year, which is Boxing Day. Because it's full of love and nice food and good times and presents. More presents that you're now acquainting yourself with than... there isn't really time to play your brand new copy of Brian Lara Cricket, or whatever a good childhood gift you might have received would have been on your PlayStation, because do you want to come down for lunch? No, you've just given me something that is going to, I'm going to hemorrhage 98 hours of my life a week on, so I'd like to play Brian Lara Cricket, please, and not speak to any of you, family. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, well, you have to come down for lunch because that's not the way that Christmas works. Okay, fine. And then are we going to watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory again for the 17th year in a row? Yes. Christmas was made easier when I reached the drinking age. Pissed in the morning, get hammered and start opening presents and go, thank you, I love you. And if presents, we've, as a family, do less and less presents. You just get the presents for your kids, and that's fun. They never got me. Well, my son bought me some football cards, just a packet of match attacks, and he gave them to me earlier today. He can't sleep very well, you see, and sometimes comes down from his bedroom when I'm talking to Jessie. That's her name. And when I was talking to Jessie earlier, we were talking, this is, I think, the last, I said this last time, but I really think this is the last podcast in this room. I will move out to a room, my own studio, and I'm going to take the spare room in my brother's flat where I used to live. And me and Jessie were talking about this, and she said, so you're going to move out to Lenny's and move your stuff into, she said, you're going to move your stuff into Lenny's, talking about the computer's screens and the camera and all the doobies and whatnot. And my son was at the top of the stairs and came down and said, I heard what you were saying. I heard that Daddy's going to move out. And then he came over and sat with me and started crying into my shoulder because he didn't want me to move out. And then I started crying. And then Jessie started crying. And then I looked at Donnie right in his eyes and I said, it's because of you that I'm leaving. No, I said, I'm not going anywhere. Obviously, I said I would never go anywhere. I clutched him to my chest and told him that I really, really loved him. It was such a harrowing, but in the end, kind of gorgeous moment. Obviously, it's lovely to know that people care, I suppose. Oh, you'd like me to stay. All of my insecurities about being a sort of superfluous member of the family. I'm just kind of, my main role in the family is just hanging out. Not really a breadwinner, a bread loser, I think, as Jessie said in the roast battle after we'd managed to, make her jokes a little bit crueler. Yes, a truly gorgeous moment. And I'd been away all weekend as well because I've been gigging in Hereford. And I don't know if any of you have ever been to Hereford, but it's an old market town near Wales. Crucially, not in Wales, but it is near to Wales. So you must keep in mind that it isn't in Wales when you're in Hereford, because when you're in Hereford and you let the people in Hereford know when you're doing a show there that you think that you are in Wales, they hate it. Now, I knew that Hereford wasn't in Wales. I just knew it would upset them, and I wanted to upset them because I'll let you into a little trade secret, little comedy industry insider information about the gig at the Market Theatre in Hereford. But it's run by a company, a rather big comedy company, and they're across some of the biggest programs in the world. In like John Oliver's Last Week Tonight, they are his agent and the production company. I mean, whether or not it's a conflict of interest is up to you to decide on your own time, if you can be somebody's production company and their agent, but that doesn't matter. And they're across lots of different things. It's really they're a remarkably large big business. They also book the gig in Hereford at the Old Market Theatre. So fingers in a lot of pies for this large company. And what they book is the Hereford gig at the Old Market Theatre. You should know that it is the worst gig in the country, and it's been the worst gig in the country for about the last 15 years. I'm not sure if this company always booked it, but it's always been the worst gig. It's one of the only places that I've ever been booed off, and getting booed off, I've also been booed off in London. That's not as bad, because you're a tube ride home, and home will cleanse you of the sin of receiving hatred, or what certainly feels like a sin anyway. I certainly didn't feel good after I left the stage at the Piccadilly Comedy Club. The other time that I got booed off, when the compere Mike Manera, they started booing, and I went, I'm doing my time. I'm going to do my time because I'm a brash young man. And he had a look on his face as if he was about to sort of have me put down. Like, I'm so sorry, but your dog actually is not, it's going to be no quality of life for you from here on out. So I just think it's better for everybody. And he walked up to the stage and onto the stage and put his hand on my arm and went, come on, mate, let's go. Come on. Time to go. And I went, no, but I can still do this. And he just, no, you can't. Anyway, that was a much better experience of being booed off, because I could immediately drink. Whereas at the, not least because I'm not really drinking at the moment, but also being in Hereford, away from home, a far drive from home, driving 3.5-4 hours back with just the hot air of the booze. I mean booze, like as in boo, like boo, BOO', not booze, BOOZE. That would have been great, but I couldn't have any because I was driving home. The trapped in the mist of other people's distaste for you. All this, like the faces. I can still remember the faces on the table at the front of the Old Market Theatre, Hereford, 10 years ago, when they were booing me. I can remember what they looked like. He was wearing a green button-up shirt. It's absolutely incredible that my memory has committed that. Like that's etched in the most permanent part of my brain. That loathing. My brain going, feel this, understand this, okay? It holds it up to me every now and again. It goes, do you remember the Old Market Theatre in Hereford from about 2013 or 14? Well, why don't you make sure it never happens again, okay? Because I feel like I've just drank cold piss, okay? So you remember this. This memory isn't going anywhere. There is no extinguishing this fire, because this fire will serve as a reminder to never, ever be this shit ever again. And I got the offer. Would you like to headline Avalon Hereford on these dates? 2 nights, because it's Christmas time. Christmas parties. Now, Christmas parties turn normally nice gigs into shit gigs. So what we had at the Avalon Market Hereford Theatre gig was shitty gig squared. And I went up or across to Hereford with the hope of righting a few wrongs. I believe I said in my my email back to my agent, really? Fuck, ha 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 ha, they want to book me, Jesus. That's the scene of my hardest ever bomb. Okay, yes, sure, absolutely, I'd love to take the gigs. Time to show some pigs what's what. And do you know what? This weekend, friends of the show, you're friends of the podcast, aren't you, listener and viewer? Friends of the podcast, do you know what happened? Is that I did show them what was what. And it turns out that doing something for another 10 years will help you get a lot better at it. I do think I should have been better. I didn't get good at stand-up quickly. I got good at stand-up very, very slowly. I didn't really get, like, consistent. It took me 12, maybe 13 years to get to a point where I was pretty confident of walking on stage and it going well. And that would be what usually happens, like 95, 96% of the time. Before that, it was a real toss-up. I wonder what's going to happen. I hope they like it, because so much of the time they don't. Pardon me. Just having a little bit of water. And then on Sunday night, I went to go and do the Have a Word podcast. The Have a Word live show, the Christmas live show that streams live and then is shown for 7 days, and then it dies. So you can sort of say whatever you want. You can be as absolutely kind of reprehensible as you like. That's the kind of the marketing behind it. This is too hot for TV. I was quite tame, I think. I made a joke about whether or not there might have been a comma in between Shrek and decorations, because are they Shrek decorations, or do you watch Shrek and then put up the decorations? And it was a fine moment, and I mean fine as in it was absolutely fine, not that in it was she's mighty fine. That's what I meant. What they've created is absolutely insane. It was like. And the some of you, the lids from the Have a Word podcast, some of the fans of the Have a Word podcast might be listening to this now. And you are a bizarre bunch of people. And the enthusiasm that the fans have for what it is, the knowledge of the catchphrases, of the stories, the characters, it's created a world and like a friendship group. That's obviously what a podcast is a lot of the time, is that you are listening to somebody who represents, the company that you'd like to keep. It's how I listen to podcasts. It's like listening. I want to hear people who I'd like to be my friends talk about football at a sort of similar knowledge level to what I or actually slightly higher than I have. Or listen to comedians who I get along with. Like the Have a Word podcast, like Phil Wang and Pierre Novelli's Bud Pod. I really enjoy that. And that's it. It's like they are friends of mine, but even if they weren't, they're the sort of people that I'd like to be friends with, So in order to create this energy, this scene, this kind of these barbarian hordes of Have a Word podcast fans, incredible people. But it is like being at a Comic-Con, like an event where they're, oh my God, Adam and Dan are here, the leaders of everything that's brilliant. They are here, and they're like. They represent the very apex of what it is to be, to have that sense of humour, to be that sort of man, and they're just brilliant. They're both such good comedians as well. But a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to be involved. And I think I'm doing a roast or something. I don't know. I am doing a roast, and the tickets are on sale, so you should come to that. I don't know if I was allowed to say I was on it. I don't know if they've announced the lineup yet. I'll check. The reason why we live, me and Jesse, in this area, I mentioned it, I think, previously in this episode. I mean, the fact that we live in London. But the reason why we live in the area that we live in is because of the coffee shop that's local, which is when we lived in West London, we would come to this coffee shop to have the coffee, to be in the room. We liked it that much. We would travel to get there. And on getting there, the local coffee shop, and now we live near it because we love it so much. And I'm pretty sure that's the reason. I'm pretty sure the coffee shop is perhaps representative of the surrounding area and represents in itself what it is to live in this area. It is cosmopolitan London, sort of independent local coffee shop. And they're just such brilliant inventions. I don't know what we did. Like, how long have these local independent coffee shops been around? Whose idea was it to come up with this thing, which is essentially the idea behind the local coffee shop is, hey, wouldn't it be cool if going to the pub didn't ruin your life? If going to the pub every day and having that social local experience didn't mean that your family hate you and possibly leave. What would that be like? Maybe instead of a depressant, we could be drinking stimulants. Ooh, that might help my work. Oh my God, we've come up with such a good idea. You could have a little pastry while you have your stimulant and talk, about your sort of shop floor, sort of freelance design company thingamajig. We've got big sofas, so you can sit on a sofa with your laptop. Call the laptop, it's perfect. So if you got your lap there, don't you? A desktop, you'll need a desk for that. But no, the laptop, you'll just need your lap, and you can put it atop your lap and then work at your laptop. It's so called because of where it is most of the time. You can put your laptop on a desk, but it doesn't become a desktop. Ironically, the desktop computer often lives under your desk, as mine lives right now. It's more an underdesk, an underdesk computer, and the laptop often on a desk and is a desktop. Without wanting to get into all of this utter dog shit, and I don't know why I've started talking about the etymology of lap and desktop computers, but I'm just saying you could sit in our lovely coffee shop, have a lovely cup of stimulant, and you could you could try and maybe you could you've got that you've got your dissertation, don't you? You've got your dissertation due, and your dissertation is on whether or not the manifestations of inequality in society existing more as a problem within the segregation that is experienced in civic spaces than actually the acquisition of material goods, and the true manifestly worrying thing about inequality being the segregating effect it has on civic spaces and what that does. So that's you, and that you could write that in you have a cup of stimulant. And look, the old woman who comes in with her carer the other day, and she's going to sit next to you, and she's going to have her cappuccino that she gets every day, because she's an old woman, so she's not getting lattes or flat whites like we young people are. She's old, so she's getting a cappuccino, and she's going to sit there with her dog that looks dead until it moves. And you go, is that dog dead again? No, it's just moved again. It just looks like it. I mean, the quality of fur that it has. It's like, like this dog looks like when, does anybody have like a teddy bear that their mum gave them and that their mum's mum gave to them? Like, it's been like a generationally old teddy bear with the kind of hair falling out, and the hair that is there is kind of so brittle and immovable and doesn't it's like iron wool, or like a scouring, like you could scour your pans with the dog, one of those dogs, and it's sort of, and it just sits next to her and goes, might as well be dead, I think, until she goes, do you want to lick my cappuccino cup. Do you want to lick the dregs of milk out of it? And then this dog will spend about 20 minutes, because it's fucking stupid, because it's a stupid dog that's not even really alive. And then it will lick like every single... And I mean, call me crazy or perverted, but there is something sexual about it. Like, she's doing it, she's like, yeah, you fucking love that milk, don't you? You little fucking dead dog. You shitty little dog. Who's shitty little dog? And the carer doesn't really sit with it. The carer just sort of fucks off for a bit. He helps her out of her chair, sits her down with the dog. Dog kind of goes down on the old woman's coffee cup after she's finished drinking it. Meanwhile, the woman next to the old woman is going, I'd love to... kind of trying to do my dissertation or try and figure out a new design scheme for a local fashion retailer on their shop floor, and we're having some quite serious conversations about it. And also the woman who's organising the new look for the shop floor, she's taken her shoes off and has got her naked feet on the couch next to the old woman as the dog goes down on the coffee cup. And then there's an old man drawing, he's wearing his working smock. He's wearing his working smock and designing sort of airships or something, some antiquated mode of thing that nobody's getting anywhere on whatever's going down on this dotted pad that he's using a very fine and kind of precision posh pen to draw in. And then there's the man who looks like John Lithgow, who's reading a large book. He never seems to be doing any work. He just scowls at me and my children. And I don't mind him scowling at my children. I quite like it. I sometimes think that my children might need a bit of scowling at, I don't scowl at them. I don't scowl at them often enough. Just fucking, what are you doing? Sometimes kids can use a bit of, the fuck are you? Hey, stop it! Fucking stop it! With your eyes. If you can see my eyes, then you can see my eyes. If you can't, then you can just hear me. You could hear me saying what my eyes are sort of implying. Fucking kids. Wish they would fucking shit off. And every time we go in there with the kids, everybody knows what's going on. The local cafe staff go, oh, they know what you want. And that's another lovely thing about, we all love routine. And we love going in there. We love being known. Large oat latte, yes please. 2, yes please. 2 baby chinos. And that's what Jessie always says, 2 baby chinos please. And why? Why are we going to order them? When was the last time that either of our children consumed more of the baby chino than the floor did? Answer me that. There is so much more milk absorbed into the floorboards of the coffee shop than have ever passed my children's lips. And yet every time, 2 baby chinos please. Why? Why are we doing that? I don't understand. They've never not been spilt. This is barbarism. This is like that old stupid expression that everybody always says, definition of insanity and all that. We cannot be doing it. We must not be doing it. And yet, every single time, baby chinos. Oh, can we have some sort of nuts glazed with honey shaped into a bar that costs £4.70 to munch on and sort of spit everywhere into our baby chinos before we spill them? Why do they make you say baby chino? Couldn't they come up with some more dignified, do you like hearing me say that? I always think that when people go, when people order food at McDonald's, do you not... They're taking the piss out of you. Can I have a McFlurry, please? No. You're a grown-up. Do you have some ice cream? Like some ice cream with bits of mouldy twirl kind of crunched into it and whizzed about a bit. A McFlurry. We asked you to say it and you just said it. You didn't even question it. Will you say McFlurry, please? McFlurry. You idiot. And they're quite good. I think that local independent coffee shops are I think my friend wants to, what did he describe them as? The apotheosis of hipster capitalism, which I quite like. Because he's right. I quite like the idea that local independent coffee shops are a conspiracy, like a government, like it's part of a secret national like plan to keep people investing in the idea of counterculture whilst being driven to work more. Taking it from the pub, those are not good workers does the pub make. The pub does not make, busy or dynamic go-getters of us. Whereas local independent coffee shops, oh my God, look how many tattoos the barista has. I truly am part of something unique and independent. What a cool and resourceful young bohemian business people I'm in the presence of, and they know what I want, and I'm having my coffee. But no, all it's there for is that so you believe you're part of some independent thing. And then they give you your coffee, have your stimulant, and run along and go and work at Deutsche Bank. Pig man. Yeah? I can tell from your suit that you're a pig man who works at Deutsche Bank. You're no friend of mine. You're no friend of the independent coffee shop. But what if it's all a ruse? What if we're just here to reset your brain a little bit? You come downstairs from JP Morgan, part of all flustered and fucked, and going, oh God, life is meaningless, isn't it? I'm just part of society's most harmful mechanisms. I must remember to kill myself at some point extremely soon. And then you go downstairs and go, I need some stimulant. I'm too tired from all of the awfulness. I need some stimulant that's delicious and warm, and somebody kind of cool smiling at me. And so I've got a very pretty girl in. How is she so pretty but wearing ill-fitting jeans? Does she not have any vanity faculty? What's going on? All of it, every one of her choices looks like it would be kind of negating the natural beauty that she possesses, but at the same time that doesn't seem to be the case at all. It seems to be augmenting her natural beauty, if anything. It's like she doesn't need to be desired, and that makes me desire her. A coffee, please, a stimulant. I just want 5 minutes to believe that the world isn't all JP Morgan. It isn't all my shirt from Marks and Spencer's, and the monotony of the decisions that I make every day, the M&S finest peel back meal for two that I eat all of, and the cocaine at the weekends, the dad that never says I love you. I just need to feel something. Oh, there's a barista with tattoos. Oh, there's a crate nailed to the ceiling. I truly am part of a countercultural movement. Yes, you are. And you believe that, don't you? Now take your stimulant and enjoy the rustic local independent coffee shop surroundings. Enjoy the little doodle we've made. We've cut Boris Johnson out of a newspaper and drawn devil horns on him and put fuck Boris on our notice board. And you can feel the frisson of naughtiness tingling in your ball bag before you run back off upstairs in JP Morgan and put in those numbers all high on your local independently sourced stimulant from Colombia with notes of chocolate and honey and blackberries in it, and you can't taste any of those. All you can taste is last night's depression. Be funny that if Boris Johnson was actually a cross, listen, we need to get some more mocked up. Can somebody go to the local independent coffee shop and write fuck Boris on the notice board, please? Because I think they need to be believable. Okay, nobody can know. We're fine with privatising the NHS, but what we have is publicly funded local independent coffee shops. Independent. Sure. Yeah. The Socially Democratic Republic of North Korea. Yeah, sure. We know who owns these coffee shops. It's the Tory government. But I do love them. And I don't mean it. It's just a funny conspiracy theory, isn't it? Hopefully. I think that's one of my all-time most... one of my most strongly persevering fantasies is going on a date with the girl from the coffee shop. Not the girl from the coffee shop, but a girl. One of the local baristas at the local coffee shop that I'm going to at the time. Is just... And I think it's all because of Alicia Keys. I think she turned me on to the idea of getting called up and going, hey, is the waitress down at the coffee house on 39th and Lenox? You come down here on Wednesdays and you always order the special with the hot chocolate. Yeah, I do. I always order the special with the hot chocolate. What is the special? It's probably something like waffles, isn't it? Waffles and like bacon with maple syrup. You always order the special with the hot chocolate. Hey, it's the waitress down at the coffee house on 39th and Lenox, and you always come in with your girlfriend and your 3 now screaming children. And you always order the 2 oat lattes and then 2 baby chinos, and they always go on the fucking floor, don't they? And then I sort of smile and go, oh no, it's fine, no, really, don't worry. But I'm actually seething inside. I'm so fucking angry. Stop ordering them baby chinos when they always go on the fucking floor, don't they? Anyway, my phone's breaking up. Anyway, I just wondered if you wanted to come meet me. We could get together outside the restaurant, because I do look a lot different outside my work clothes. Because of course at the local independent coffee shops, they all, like when they're not at work, they wear really well-fitting clothes and really exactly like high fashion. They're very high fashion. They're very well paid because they're government roles. They're civil servants, the people, the baristas. Of course, we don't know that they're civil servants, but they are employed by the government to keep the economy going, and to keep people invested in the idea of a counterculture. And it's a little joke that they've got with the government, is that exactly the place that you go to feel relieved of the strain of your corporate nightmare that you're stuck in is also the place that you are provided the stimulant to go back. It's like just when you're at your lowest ebb, they go, no, go on, have a bit of the surroundings and go back to work. Fuck off. Go on, fuck off. So those are today's thoughts about coffee shops, and I hope you enjoyed it. And the sad thing about me having spoken about coffee shops is it's going to make the title of the podcast shit, and that means that, and I'll probably, if I say I told my son I was leaving, that'd be a good like clickbaity. Somebody messaged me the other day going, too clickbaity, mate. Oh, I don't care. What are we doing here? What's it's a fucking podcast episode, isn't it? Just call it something mad and get on with your life. And if you were only listening because you thought that I was, actually going, to go into Westfield with a crossbow at Christmas and do a Christmas random murder, or whatever insane thing I've written in the description, I probably wasn't. I'm not leaving. I'm not. I love everybody. Everybody is great. Okay, what else are we talking about today? Well, I'm not sure. There's every chance, apparently, that we go into another lockdown here in the UK that indoor entertainment venues will be asked to shut their doors for a good few weeks at the beginning of January. And I honestly don't know what I will do. Probably do this every day in my beautiful studio. I'll probably be good to get a podcast intro. I'm not sure how into the idea of a podcast intro you are, listener, or how professional or good this sounds to you, or whether or not you mind that I don't edit it at all, whether or not you mind this is just a stream of my consciousness, whether that might be pleasing for you. My weekly reminder that I am doing my shows at the Soho Theatre from the 26th to the 29th, and then I'm going on tour. All tickets are at alfiebrown.comedian.com. I'm on Alfie Brown Comedian on Instagram. Please follow. If you are watching this, then a lovely thing that some people do is they screenshot it and then they put it on their Instagram, and then I can redo that, and it percolates the whole notion of this being good and worth people's time. So if you do have the time or the inclination to do that, then it really helps me. If not, please like and subscribe and rate on iTunes and do all of that stuff, because God knows that it really improves the quality of my life. It really, really does. I could Twitch again. My son was trying to impress upon me the importance of buying a PlayStation 5 or Xbox, and I thought it was very reasonable, the points that he was making, and found them to be kind of quite salient. Jesse didn't feel like we deserve an Xbox or a PlayStation 5. And said that the buying of one would be quite indulgent, given the amount of money that we have, and to spend £450 on an Xbox or £650 on a PlayStation might be an exceptionally stupid idea for us to embark upon. And I have to say, I don't totally agree with her, because I don't. And Donnie, very helpfully, what he did was he wrote me an IOU for £450 and then said, there you go, Daddy, now you can spend £450 on an Xbox and not worry about it, because I owe you £450, so eventually you'll get that back. And I thought that was very smart. And Jessie didn't seem too convinced by it, if I'm being completely honest. I think she was. I think she needs to broaden her mind slightly to the to what it could bring to us as a family, the Xbox or PlayStation 5. Maybe if I said that's what I wanted for Christmas, that would be a good idea. It's right now, as I'm recording this, it's now 1:45 in the morning, and I have to say I'm pretty tired. But there we are. Okay, it can't always be. But when I move to my studio, I can record these during the days. I won't have to be so incredibly tired all the time, which is going to be such a great benefit to me and you and everybody else who loves to hear a podcast. Maybe I'll Twitch again during the lockdown. I think I'd go daily with the podcast, but I would like to do something else live internet ideas. Interesting. Who knows? All right. Well, that's me. That's me for this week. It's a short one today, but it is 1:45 in the morning, and there was a bonus one. So you just be, grateful. And I might try and do some more bonus stuff when I set up to celebrate the setting up of the new studio. As ever, if there was anything at all that you'd like me to talk about, please message me. Somebody has given me the topic of musicals, but I don't want to address it this week because I was going to I was doing my experience and the essence of what it is to. I just thought I'd talk about coffee shops for as long as I could, and that's the only thing I decided I wanted to talk about. Maybe musicals will be the next time, but I do like these things where I try and plunder my brain for everything that I could conceivably think about one topic. Anyway, if there's anything that you'd like to hear me say, any questions that you have for me, any festive wonderings that over the holiday period you might want to put to me, well, then I think that would be great, I think I'd love to hear them. This has been me, Alfie Brown, on the Alfie Brown Show. And you have good weeks and good Christmases. And I hope you get all the presents that you were after, okay? Because there we are. Try and fuck someone as well, if you can. Just have a nice fuck. Lovely, festive, because it's like people are imbued with the spirit of celebration, and they like to fuck around Christmas time. So, I fancy your chances. If that's something that you're in the mood for, in the marketplace for, have a fuck. Have a good fuck. Okay? Oh, to fuck. Okay. Enjoy your weeks, everybody, and maybe see you for a little bit of bonus fun in the middle of the week. Good day and good night.